Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm the Jaywalker. Today, urban legend, some apparently Utah ties. Let's go on a jaywalk. So, today's urban legend, been around at least since the mid to late 1980s. I think the earliest versions of it kind of hit around 1986, 87 or so, back around the time when tanning salons, tanning beds really took off in America. The urban legend is that there was a bride or some female who, in an effort to get herself tan in enough time for her wedding, the day before said wedding was to take place, went to four different tanning salons, somehow got around all of the paperwork and managed to overfry herself, and ended up dying. Now, the Utah tie, apparently there is again, I have not, my research, a little bit that I've been able to do, I've not been able to find a real actual story on this, but the story that I heard on this was there was a 17-year-old girl who wanted a trip to Hawaii, and in her haste and in her desire to get tan before she went on said trip to Hawaii, did hit 4 different tanning salons. Now back then, it was a little easier for teenagers, especially here in Utah, to be able to go to the tanning salon. Some very big safeguards that were just put in place just a few years ago about this, but then it was easier. But she went to four different tanning salons, and later on in the afternoon was just not feeling well. She was taken to the hospital where she later passed away because her organs had begun to fail due to all this excess UV exposure. Now apparently, and again I've not been able to verify this as I've done some research, but apparently there was a letter sent to Ann Landers. For those who may not know, actually it was her sister, Dear Abby. It was Dear Abby. They were Ann Landers and Dear Abby. They were sisters who both wrote advice columns in some major newspapers. But the story is that there was a letter written to Dear Abby about this situation, but it was just kind of put in as maybe a social type thing of, hey, be careful with this, as Dear Abby and her team were trying to verify this as well. They called, this happened down in Provo, the Provo-Orem area, and as they tried to get a hold of the Utah Valley Regional Hospital, they wouldn't give out any information. Now, given that it was back in the late 80s, it's about the time that what's known as HIPAA now, the Health Information Portability and Accountability Act, which protects people's health-related information from being talked about by the hospitals. They were unwilling or unable to give any information about this young girl, or unable to say that they even had a patient like that even come in. So, there's the legend. There's the backstory. It's possible. What do you think? Have you heard this? Or possibly, have you heard this urban legend? I never had till I started looking for stories to tell, things to talk about. Let me know. Join me again on another Jaywalk. Talk about urban legends, talk about ghosts. We'll see you real soon. Like, subscribe, tell your friends. Helps me out more than you know. We'll see you soon.